Good morning, everyone. Welcome in. Hope you're doing well. All right, I gotta negotiate some lunch here. One-handed Harry at the moment. I've got a lot full of kittens already. So, oh my goodness. Quite nasty. Fluffy and Tans are down here, and each one has a string from my sweatshirt. They're chewing on it. Good morning, welcome in. Hopefully you're doing well this morning, staying nice and warm, as it is very, very chilly out. Ow. Good morning, Dave. Good morning, Thomas. How you doing? Welcome in. I'm a little buried, I guess would be the best word at the moment. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 cats on me at the moment. Was 8, but Fluffy got down. He got tired of chewing on my string, I guess. Um, we're gonna try a different format. Is my mic even down? No. Can you hear me now better? Probably. I'm sorry, y'all. Um, yes, Dave, I agree. It is definitely a Monday. Why? What is your infatuation with my damn phone this morning? Huh? Dave's gonna watch me do MMA with you. You hear me? Why are you on my table again, sir? Anyway, we're gonna try a different format this morning. Good morning, Cal. But we're gonna need your help with this format because we're gonna need a bunch of different topics to talk about. Now, we want to try and keep 5 to 10, maybe 15 minutes per topic. Granted, some topics are going to take a little bit more time to go into, just even to do generalizations. So we'll do them per topic, but we're going to try and do this and see how it goes. And as always, tomfoolery is just going to happen. So if you don't like that, I don't know what to tell you.
There's always tomfoolery here. Sorry for being MIA for a couple of days. I was under the weather. It happens. Usually takes me about a day or so to get over whatever it is. But I have bad initial defenses, but my defense in depth is very strong. My immune system takes the approach of let us lure the enemy in and destroy it. And meanwhile, I get sick in the process, but I know not too big of a deal. Otherwise, I would have been here all weekend.
Well, I didn't even do a show last night. I wasn't competing with Trump, so
it's kind of hard to do that. Which reminds me, that is one of the things I wanted to bring up. Tucker Carlson last night, when he got on stage, first of all, he was giddy as a schoolgirl. I mean, anybody that saw it, wow, that guy has got such enthusiasm. He was like a little boy all over again, giving a presentation for the class. But he got into it. The thing that really got me, though, was, and this ties into something else I'm going to say in a second. What he said was that nobody is going to believe that Kamala Harris got 85 million votes. At this stage of the game, no one is, including the CEOs of several major tech companies, including Google. Now, I don't want to sound like I'm huffing copium, by the mountain, but when the tech giants are starting to cozy up to Trump instead of ignoring him, something has changed. Now, I'm not going to theorize quite on what, but if the other side is starting to panic, and Mitch McConnell is going to step down as a Senate Republican leader in November.
Good. About fucking time.
If all of this stuff is starting to happen, they're scared. They are scared. They know that at this point that Trump is most likely going to win and very possibly get into office without too much difficulty. Why? If the ones that stand to lose the most, if Trump decides to go through with all of his policies, which is, big tech is one of them, if they're reacting to the point where they're saying, we better change our flag now, they know that even with all the cheating that may or may not go on, they already know the election is cooked. There was even the rumor that Joe Biden said that the election's dead and buried. And, he had a few choice insults for Kamala.
Joe is actively sabotaging at this point, I believe.
Yes, I think he is. He's not just Joe, but Jill. It's more Jill than anything.
They basically flat out told him they do not want him campaigning for her.
Yep.
And he went to Scranton yesterday, I think it was, or maybe it's today. He's going up there. I know. I heard he's going up to Scranton by himself to campaign for her. So I'm like, okay, well, this is what happens when you start a civil war in your party.
Yeah. See, Joe's big thing is that he wanted to be president twice. Jill wanted to be first lady twice. I mean, it's Jill Biden. She's I wouldn't call her necessarily power hungry, but she is most definitely she enjoys being the first lady. Let me put it that way. And she enjoys the fact that she's basically running the country. Now, Biden has just enough brain power left to be offended, which means that, hey, Whisker's on the screen.
Hey.
That's a cute effect. It reminds you there's kitties around.
Cute until he starts banning people. Would you leave the...
But Biden has enough brain power left to say, they fucked me. Screw it. I'm going scorched earth on these bastards. I don't like Trump, but I hate these guys more. It's one of those, the enemy of my enemy may not necessarily be my friend, but I'm going to step back and let him do whatever. So Tucker is right. Nobody at this stage is going to believe Kamala Harris got 85 million votes. Nobody. Hell, at this stage of the game, I think 50 million would be a little unusual. Even with dead people voting, illegal aliens voting.
Talking about Kamala, that's gonna take an hour. Oh hell, I just did a Kamala cackle. Son of a bitch. But on the topic of Kamala, she tried to do the black church thing again last night or yesterday again, and was severely heckled.
Yeah.
And it was not. Things are not going well for her. And someone in chat yesterday was talking about how they heard that her people really are trying to get her on Rogan. I believe that would be like that would kill her campaign completely. If people saw her on there for 3 hours just saying absolutely nothing with lots of words.
Yeah.
And then the whole world would realize, oh my God, she really is that stupid.
I mean, they already pretty much know. It's just Joe Rogan would be the final nail in the coffin.
Because everybody knows Joe's not partisan.
Yeah.
Joe asks us, he treats all his guests the same. Now, if you act stupid on the show, he'll call you out on it.
Oh, yeah.
But, he's always been fair from what I've watched. And kind of why I do it the way I do it is because it's basically the fairest way to do it. You all have a say in what we talk about. And, we being live, we can have some fun with it too. So, and I enjoy spending time with you all. It's the biggest reason, honestly. But, so, it is cold. Very, very cold. We got down to 32 last night.
See, we're getting one last little heat spike. It's going to be 88 today. It's 60 right now, thereabouts. But then it's going to go down. On Halloween, it's going to be 64. The high temperature last year was about the same thing. So I have a feeling that going by that, the winter over here isn't going to be too bad. I might get a little more snow than Jay because he's 50 miles to the south and west of me, roughly.
Good morning, Suzanne. I bet Susie already had snow up her way. Jay said 65 here right now. What you doing, Whiskers?
Hey, Jay. I don't see your comment, but I know you're there.
Sometimes it takes a second for the comments to pop up.
Well, I got Cora's comment of hi, Jay, but I didn't see Jay's comment at all.
Huh. That's weird.
We switch over to the YouTube, the actual YouTube chat instead of...
well, sleep well, Susie. Have a great night. Or morning.
Yeah, sleep well, Susie. Okay. Oh, there we go. Now I can see him if I'm looking at the actual YouTube chat instead of the Rumble Studio chat.
Yeah.
Hey, buddy. Good morning. I'll just superimpose the YouTube chat over the Rumble Studio chat so I can actually see what the hell's going on.
Where I say go to live chat, Cal. Is there a thing for live chat on there? Oh, these guys are gonna knock. I'm about to get attacked by cats trying to jump down.
Oh, noes.
Well, Tangerine decided to jump into the damn fire pit this morning. So be glad you were not here because I got to that nice smell of singed hair that was owed the cat this morning. And
I can think of a few worse smells.
Well, no, I live in farmland. I smell far worse, but
Oh
there's
no, no,
nothing.
I've got a few things that smell even worse than that.
Yeah. I'm good for today. I used to work in industrial waste disposal. I understand. So,
No, I was
I
talking about Joe Biden's diaper bucket.
well, yeah, I wouldn't want to be the one that has to get rid of that.
Stinky, stinky. Um, couple of other things I wanted to mention. Speaking of the rally, I did want to say this because he was very important to my childhood, and he was to Mrs. Cal's childhood too. She's no longer with us to say this. Seeing Hulk Hogan come out to his old theme, acting like it was 1985 all over again, with all the gestures, all the energy, that was a very special moment.
Yeah,
Um,
it was a
and
really good one.
he was completely in character the entire time as Hulkamania Hulk Hogan, and I
Yeah,
loved it. I mean, we know that Terry Hogan has a little bit of oddities that go on with him. He's maybe not quite right in the head. He's incredibly Christian, and he has a very interesting family, just to say the least. But to see him come out like it was 40 years ago with full energy to real American and all that, I just about lost it. I cried. I confess, because if Jen or Mrs. Cal had been here, she would have been cheering her heart out seeing that. So, and the fact, I mean, we all knew that Hulkster would be on Trump's side from the very beginning, because him being a good Christian, and seeing the very unchristian things that the people in the Democrat Party do. Man's got to say something. He's a showman first and foremost. That is his thing, and he just has to say something. I mean, it's just not just that, but he has to exercise his right to freedom of speech, and he's going to do it in the most over the top way possible. He could have come out there in a suit, no do rag, no bandana, nothing, and just talk like Terry instead of Hulk Hogan. But he did it as Hulk Hogan, which adds a real extra a spirit to it. This Hulk Hogan was an icon back during the 80s. For those, well, everybody here is probably old enough to remember that. So I don't have to address you like I do a lot of my usual Discord audience. They're like, huh? Because they're all in their 20s. They don't know. They don't know what it was like. Um, but having that spirit of when it was America ready to defend the whole world against communism, we were prepared. Oh, hey, when's the whole Cold War going to go hot? We're going to go stomp some Reds. We had villains like Iron Sheik in the wrestling world that represented a lot of different things. But there was this sense back then that American patriotism as a spirit was indomitable, and he brought that to Madison Square Garden, and
good
that in
morning,
and of
Latoya.
itself.
Welcome in.
Well, good morning, Latoya.
Yeah, that's the only thing that really bugged me last night a little bit. I do understand where he's coming from and his feelings in it, but the guy who lost his friends and stuff in the trade center that talked. I'm sorry, his name escapes me at the moment. But and I completely get how he's angry. And most of us who lost people because of that situation are still dealing with anger issues with that, I'm sure.
Oh yeah.
Um, but he seemed very eager to possibly go to war again. And I'm sorry, the whole death to jihad thing just, do I want jihad? No. I think jihad is wrong. I think it's dangerous. But us declaring war on it is just as bad as them declaring war on us over it. You understand? I'm not saying don't take out terrorists that need to be taken out. But I don't know. Maybe I'm saying it wrong.
Latoya had something
You
she
can
wanted
tell
to
us
bring up.
something.
Yeah. Go ahead, Latoya. What's up?
But did what I say made sense?
What you're looking for is you want surgical strikes over an extended campaign. You'd rather send in Delta Force or Rangers to do their damn job rather than send, I don't know, the entire 4th Infantry Division, a couple of battalions of Marines, half the fucking fleet, you know? Take them out, but make it quick and easy. Don't
Honestly,
hang around and
my
nation
exact
build.
words back then was just make it all glass, but that was back then before I realized it. Not all of them hate us, and that the fact is a lot of it's brainwashing. It really is. Wonder, you were upset the other day?
What's the matter,
I'm sorry
Latoya?
you were upset, but what was going on? Yeah, Thomas, I like what RFK will do with our food. He got a little overwhelmed yesterday. I don't know if you noticed that, but he repeated himself a couple times, and I don't think he meant to.
Well, that's the treatment for the parasite that he had to go through. Oh, that's Discord related. That's all on you, bud.
No, she's trying to look out for us because she's afraid that there's people on here who do things that are not good, and she's just trying to make sure you're not doing something. It's nothing personal. It's okay. So
Jamie means well. She really does.
yeah, this is a good group of people.
Oh yeah.
We all look out for each other, and that includes you if you become, join us and become not monetarily join us, but
as I said, I promised I would as soon as I get the time in my life to do so. If I wasn't dealing with all the crap that I was.
That. You're part of the group already.
I mean the Discord. I mean joining the Discord. I already said I already promised I would. You know me, I keep my promises. Or, literally nature has to fall in on itself for me not to. I work very hard to keep my promises.
Yes, Cora. RFK hopefully is going to completely dismantle that whole system and rebuild it the right way. And get
Trump
the right
already
people in place.
Yeah, Trump already said he's going to basically use Bobby Kennedy as a bulldog, and he's going to point him at Big Pharma and the FDA and all that stuff, and he's just going to let him go. And he's going to keep him focused on that. He explicitly said that on Joe Rogan, which is exactly what he needs to do. That man is a bulldog. If you've seen him without his shirt off, even at his age, he is impressively stacked. So, he takes care of himself. But all the stuff that he was talking about the FDA suppressing, some of that stuff, I will be honest, I've never heard of it. I had to look it up. And once I did, of course, there's going to be a lot of fringe stuff that comes up. And I had to use the Yandex and Start Page to even look for any good information that wasn't all anti-that propaganda. Some of it is kind of promising. And, just the very idea that, hey, you know what, maybe we should, let people do that. There was somebody, kitty. There was somebody who made a comment that said, I should be able to go to the pharmacist and buy basic drugs, antibiotics, ivermectin, hydroxychloroquine, and all that sort of thing over the counter without a little good boy note from a doctor. I agree on that. And for a lot of things, there is always the risk that somebody could overdose on the wrong stuff and make a boo-boo. But for those of us that actually understand certain medications and how they work and how they interact with the body, and we do our own research, we may not have a degree in pharmacology, but when I was I did have COVID for just under a week. Kicked my ass. It was the sickest I've ever been in my life. But once I got over it, and I started doing the research on hydroxychloroquine and ivermectin, I bought some. I've got some still, and I think it's still good. But I realized that, look at all the good results we're getting with ivermectin, hydroxychloroquine, and all that. Do your own research. I did mine, and I agree.
Zinc is another big one.
Yes.
You should be taking vitamin D,
Get
B
your sunshine.
complex. Well, this time of year, you're not going to get much sunshine here. So we
Drink
might
your
still
milk.
get some for another couple weeks, but then after that, it's usually wind, clouds, and snow. So,
But yeah, the whole idea of us getting our proper nutrients. A lot of us can go through and, my mom was, she was careful. She would take her, her Centrum women's vitamins and garlic, I think it was, and then fish oil. And Mrs. Cal, I attribute the fact that she survived as long as she did, the fact that she started doing a vitamin regimen and fish oil and all that stuff, plant pills. I forget what most of them are. But she started doing that like right away. And because her mother, a nurse, told her, you know what, this stuff will help your heart. I don't know how much it'll help your heart, but it will help your heart. And I attribute the fact that she survived that long to the fact that she was getting proper vitamins. And I'll be honest, she didn't get a lot of medical support pill-wise from the doctors. But I will say that one of her doctors was like, I could put her on this, this, and this, and it might work. Or I could just give her these two that I know do work. And then, I really shouldn't say this, but you should be taking these vitamins and other nutrients as well. And we were like, we're already doing that. Oh, okay.
of course, and don't forget the K2 and magnesium.
Yeah.
What else do I take? I take also fiber is a big thing. And, Metamucil makes a pill that's really works really well.
Oh, yeah. I don't really need that so much with how much coffee I drink. I am quite regular.
Yeah, Fred.
Yes, Thomas.
On the thing there, as little collateral damage as possible. Yes, that's, we can't go just blowing up fucking people's cafes, an entire cafe just to get one person. That's unacceptable to me.
Now, on the other hand, we could deploy a really talented sniper. Pick out the guy as he's coming out with his, oh, look at all this coffee. Where is my head? Why is my turban flying in the air? Uh-oh, I think I'm dead. That was terrible, but I don't care. Yes, hi, LaToya. My name is Cal. Pleasure to meet you. I've been buddies with Chris now for like a year, something like that.
A year and a half, actually, I think.
Yeah, something like that. We Chris and I are buddies now. He's the Sasquatch. I'm the Oklahoma nerd. Me and Jay are both nerds, but don't let him hear you tell me that. But yes, Thomas, ivermectin is being studied for shrinking cancer. And yeah, the results are promising. Ivermectin, if you believe even half of the stuff that the people who are proponents for it say, this stuff is a miracle drug. Like if we had been prescribing ivermectin as a prophylactic for certain things, during bad seasons of flu or whatever, maybe certain people wouldn't have passed away from those diseases. Maybe we would have had better results with cancer treatments and just gobs and gobs of other things. It is so promising, and the fact that we have slept on this for so long is criminal. But there's a reason. It's because you can make ivermectin for about 2 pennies a pill. Big Pharma can't get a profit off of that shit. And yet, you look at the rest of the world, look at India, South Africa, Japan, and there are a few other places that practically worship ivermectin. I know that a friend of mine, I forget what country she was traveling to now, but she said that she could go into a pharmacy and just get ivermectin right off the shelf, and she was recommended to do so to avoid certain local complications that, local sicknesses that tend to go around that tourists usually get. And it was either a tour guide or someone that said, yeah, go ahead and get yourself some ivermectin and just take it the entire time you're here. You'll be fine. And she's like, I don't need a doctor. I'm like, no, just go to the pharmacy. Just tell them you want ivermectin. And, they may ask you how much you actually weigh. So they give you the right dose, but that's about it. Just be honest. Oh, and by the way, here's a handy dandy chart on converting pounds to kilograms because we don't use imperial units here. But yeah, ivermectin has a lot of promise. A lot of these drugs that Big Pharma has been suppressing because they're so damn cheap have a lot of promise. I'll just be glad personally, it'd be a personal victory for me if they fix the whole insulin scam. Both my mother and Mrs. Cal. Hey, Mike. If I shrink down like this, it looks like I have Mike's lower face on my upper face.
Good morning, Mike.
Hey, what's up, man?
Good to see you.
That you would call an ass hat.
I'll take it. I do not have a personal channel, Latoya, because I do a lot of things in a lot of spheres, not just politics. And I like to keep my politics separate from everything else. So this is just a front face for everything. Maybe later when I get a little more involved in other things, I'll make a separate channel for my politics and a separate channel for the other stuff that I do. But I have my fingers in a lot of pies, so I don't like to mix politics with my other stuff, because some of the people that I hang around would not care for my politics, but we get along when we're talking about the very subject that I'm there for. So I just don't want to mix my politics with the rest of the stuff.
Latoya and Cora said, howdy. Well, Latoya said, good morning, Mike. Cora said, howdy, Mike.
Good morning. Howdy.
Dave said, oh, they're studying something to fight cancer. Imagine that. Not hopeful. Yeah. Big Pharma will buy out the company and kill whatever they're doing.
Yeah. Just like car companies have been buying out and killing off engines and shit. I remember it was
developing an engine that they're working on some engines instead of. It's supposed to not be petrol, but it's supposed to not be all electric either. Yeah, Cora, they can't make money off of well people. Exactly.
The day they realized that, it was all over for us. It really was.
Yep.
Heck, now they're even calling I was questioning it from the very beginning, but there's been a call to reevaluate the food pyramid now. Now, mind you, ever since I was when we were first being taught the food pyramid, I think it was in kindergarten. No, it was in first grade, because I remember my teacher at the time was saying, "Now, I don't completely agree with this," and she let us ask her afterwards, because she had to teach it as part of the curriculum, but she let us come up to her afterwards during free reading period and ask her why she doesn't think the food pyramid is accurate. And she pointed it out very simply to us first graders. When humans were first coming out of caves, is the way she put it, we didn't have farms. We hunted all of our food. Yes, humans have changed a bit over the last few 100,000 years, but we've only been farming for about the last 20,000, maybe. Think about that when you think about why grains are at the bottom and it's supposed to be the base of the food pyramid, and meat and dairy are not.
We're more carnivorous than we are anything else. But the biggest problem is that our foods now, because of all the manipulation they've done to them, they don't have the same amount of nutrients and stuff in them that they would have had 50, 60 years ago even. Which is one of the reasons why you're seeing so many people with deficiencies.
Yeah, and other issues. I mean, I know the media has played a huge role in this, but at least a chunk of people who have certain mental issues, especially with sexual identity, at least some of that has to be the issue of the poison that we're literally ingesting every day. And the fact that the United States has such a high, you know, per capita precedence of those issues versus countries where certain poisons are not allowed in the food, it gets a little suspicious. I mean, you know, correlation isn't always causation, but there's an awful lot of correlation when it comes to the screwed up stuff that we get fed, either as prescriptions or as food or in the food or whatever, that other countries don't have. Other countries don't have, you know, the massive issues that we do with gender dysphoria or gender distress or whatever it's being called today. And the U.S. does. A lot of people will bash me for this, but look at Russia. They don't have this huge issue with it among
Look at
their
Russia.
youth.
Have you seen Russia's ad for their freaking military compared to ours? Russia's ad's badass. I would join Russia's military. I'm not joining ours. I'm not dropping rainbow bombs on people.
But the point is that Russia bans a lot of the stuff that's in the food in the United States. They don't have.
Most of Europe does.
Yeah, well, most of Europe does too. But I'm talking, let's compare one big country to another big country. One country, one culture, one monoculture versus another monoculture, roughly. Russia doesn't have that stuff in the food. And while they are somewhat accepting of homosexuals and other sorts of things, they basically say, you know what? Number one, you're not allowed to talk to kids. Number two, if you do it, we don't want to see it. That's their two big basic rules. You know, as long as you're not cross-dressing and walking out to a bar in Moscow, they're not really going to care. You keep it in your home, you keep it away from the public eye, they're fine. Now, even though we had that sort of mentality not that long in our own past, you know, we still had more issues with people coming up and being homosexual or having gender distress or gender dysphoria or whatever, saying that they're, you know, I'm actually a cat, I'm a woman, I'm a dog, I'm an amoeba, whatever. We're having so much of that here in the United States versus so many other countries. Some of it has to be, at least the food is a contributing factor. I'm not going to say the food is entirely to blame because, you know, as with everything, it's a whole system. But I have a feeling that if Bobby Kennedy can at least fix the food, we're going to see a lot of mental health issues decrease because people will be getting better and proper nutrition and less poison. Poison for the body, poison for the mind.
We need to find better ways of filtrating water as well to get contaminants out, such as, you know, leftover birth control that's getting in the system.
That's been an issue for a very, very long time.
And yes, Cora, I can't speak for most doctors. My doctors actually did put me on magnesium and told me to take the Metamucil and stuff. Mm-hmm. So what is your issue, you little shit?
Man, I wish I'd already been moved out. I would have just taken all those kittens off of your hands. Instead of being in your lap, they'd be in mine.
There you go. these little fluff balls, they're so damn, they're soft.
You guys can fight over the pussy.
I knew he'd say something like that. I just knew it.
And Latoya, if Mike doesn't answer you, it's because he can't see the chat. So I will try and make sure I tell him when you make a comment to him. Latoya said she's making coffee, Mike.
I can't see the chat, and I'm working, so I got my sound off.
Yeah.
He can hear us, but he's not. He has us muted.
Right.
So he can't.
Precisely.
He's trying to
Jay is also
nice.
right about pumping fluoride into the water.
Was it the FDA or the CDC? One of those two actually tried to do that, get cities to stop doing that, and the fucking justice system told them no, they couldn't. They had to keep doing it.
Yeah. There was a town in Texas that's now going fluoride free. And really, whatever the initial reason for them actually putting fluoride in the water, I mean, some of them were saying it was to fight tooth decay and other things. But we've discovered, I mentioned this once before, on a previous cast. We're now finding out that the fluoride in the water, when our bodies absorb it, it has a mild antidepressant effect. It's basically putting happy pills in the water. So, if you stay hydrated and drink a lot of tap water, unfiltered tap water, you're drinking basically happy pills. It's not as strong as Prozac or something along those lines, but it's still happy pills.
Well, and exposure to fluoride over a long period of time, if I remember the study right, is known to cause early onset of dementia, I think it was.
It's something like that. But yeah, fluoride in the water has issues. And I remember my grandfather on my mother's side, he always bitched about the fluoride in the water. He said it was a goddamn commie plot. Well, I'm sorry, Gramps, that you're not here to see this, but yes, it was. Yes, it was. As we have just started to figure out. Also, Thomas, I think you're right about growth hormones being put into livestock, all livestock. That's another thing that's been happening, especially in the United States, is that we're seeing girls start to go into their puberty faster. They're physically developing faster, and that should not be. They shouldn't be getting their periods at 8-9 years old. And yeah, growth hormones probably doing something about that. So, but the only way you can really escape it these days, escape all this, is to have, like Thomas said, no fluoride in his well. Cora, none in hers. Get your own well, raise your own food, all of it from scratch, and eat nothing but that. That's about the only way you can avoid poison these days. And it should not be this way. It really shouldn't. It is, but hopefully not for long. Hopefully not for long. And also, Dave, it's always rough accepting the fact that the medical types don't care about us, just like the VA. Thank God I don't need them. Well, knock on wood that you don't for a very long time, Dave. But you're right. There are a lot of doctors that really don't give a shit. And it's sad to say, I've met good ones and I've met bad ones having to deal with Mrs. Cal's various medical problems when she was still alive. The good ones that I've met were the ones that were saying, yeah, you know what? Your heart's in really bad shape. We're not going to be able to fix this. Not without a heart transplant, and you're not a candidate. Best we can do is work to give you the best quality of life possible. And here's how we can do that. And they were like, you know what? Alter your diet. Try and get heart healthy as best as you can. Take your vitamins. Here's a couple of pills that'll help support your heart. And here's a pill to help you with water retention. That was her big issue. That's what ultimately ended up killing her, was water retention. But yeah, a lot of them really don't care. They're there. One of the ones that I met was there to push his agenda, which was militant veganism. And he literally blamed her entire condition on her being overweight, when she had been dropping weight right up to the point where she got sick. I mean, she had gotten overweight at one point in her life and had been working very hard to get that down. And I was doing that. I was helping by, cooking healthier food, and she was getting out and exercising.
Let me
she
interject
had.
here quick for 1 second, but I'm sorry. Jay, be safe. Have a great day. Tell the kids we hope they have a good day at school. Thomas says, hi, Mike. And Jay said he likes Mike's hat. Welcome,
Of course.
James. Nice to have you
Welcome,
here.
James.
Okay, sorry. I just wanted to...
No, you're fine. You're fine. But yeah, she had been losing weight right up to the point where her heart basically stopped working properly. It was down below roughly 25% of its output capacity, or whatever that was. No, one of her doctors said, your weight is the entire reason your heart stopped working. No, you dumbass. She caught a virus. That virus was the reason why she was suddenly just completely bedridden. And there for at least like the first year, until her heart started to naturally recover as best it could. She would be out of breath just walking, a little bit to get to the bathroom on her own. She still did it. She fought hard, but her heart literally would not allow her to do anything. She couldn't even really do like arm exercises in her chair. She tried doing that. She'd get out of breath real fast. So when your blood is not being able to be moved around your body, hey, Jamie, it's kind of hard to get any kind of exercise. And she was already on a fairly healthy diet. I just upped the ante a little bit more after she got sick. To be honest, that doctor probably ultimately shortened her life as much as other doctors prolonged it. Because of him, she wasn't able to get disability because he testified, nope, she's fat. That's her entire problem. This is all self-inflicted. And the judge listened to him because the judge was apparently one of those California health nuts, I guess. I don't know.
Good money, Jamie. Well, a lot of these judges, it doesn't matter if you qualify or not. They'll still deny you at least one or two times before they apply, and make you come into sometimes more than once actually go into their chambers to testify.
Oh yeah, she did all that, and really, the judge even said that he was swayed by that one doctor that said the fatness was the entire problem. And we moved state right after that. And she just gave up on it. She just didn't want to deal with it anymore. It was too much stress. It was causing her too much pain. And I got it. I mean, I understood. It would have been nice if the system had actually done the right thing. It would have been very nice if the doctor, and mind you, this doctor was just there for pain. Because, she had fibromyalgia, which just got worse because of her heart problems. And, he was only supposed to testify about her constant pain. And then he just drops this, oh, it's because she's fat. No, you dumb shit. She was getting thinner and right up until she got sick. You didn't know her until she got sick. So, whatever. I never liked him in the first place. He was just like I said, he was a militant vegan. He didn't believe anybody should be eating meat for any reason. He thought meat was poison. So whatever. I mean, dude is apparently.
What I understand, California's full of doctors like that.
Well, the thing is, he was also from India. He was actually imported.
Oh.
But my thing is that clearly this man does not have a happy life because he has never eaten a glorious cheeseburger.
Have a good day, Fred.
Thank you, Mike.
Oh.
Thank you. I saw that. Yeah. How can you be happy if you haven't had a glorious, big, fat freaking cheeseburger? Just dripping with cheese and fat, Anybody
out there have a topic they want to discuss? Yes, that
yeah.
real quick.
What's up, everybody? I've gone through most of my material.
Dave's
Mike, you got anything?
Today.
Anybody watch Mark Levine this weekend?
I did not. Why don't you give us some information?
On the it was on the 26th. It's a hell of an episode. It's a hell of an episode. How he talks about how Trump is compared to Hitler, and then he shows you references of Russia with Hitler, and there's a clear difference between Trump and Hitler.
Oh yeah.
Like, we know that, but there's people out there that do not understand it. I don't know, but it's a really good episode.
Let me touch on that for you, Mike, because I actually was talking stuff about that this morning. Back in the late 40s, early 50s, I believe it was when the video was from. But it was talking about how there was a communication that came from the USSR to communists in the United States. telling them that they should go after people that are opposed to them by trying to pretend to be empathetic and then calling everyone that they're against Nazis or fascists or anti-Semitic. Sound
Yeah.
familiar?
Yep. Pretty much. I think I kind of missed what you were saying there, but
Oh, I was
But
just
yeah,
saying the USSR sent out a communication to the communists in the United States telling them that the best way to further their cause is to pretend to be empathetic to the masses and minorities, and then to call those you're against Nazis, fascists, and anti-Semites, which is pretty much what's going on right now.
Yeah.
yeah,
Well,
yeah. I mean, they're pushing hate,
Mm-hmm.
you know. And then, but one of the biggest things that he talked about was how Hitler took all these people, he put them in these slums. I forget what they called them.
Ghettos.
But that, huh? Ghettos, yeah.
Ghettos.
But they took them out of the ghettos. They put them on trains, made them walk, whatever, to a new place where they would have a better life and would have work. And then they took them to the camps, and then you know where that went.
Mm-hmm.
But you know, and that's what they did with all these immigrants. They moved them to a new place with the with the chance of a job and a better life. So that's exactly what Hitler did.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And it's the Democrats that are doing it. The next step for them
And
is
it-
going to be camps too.
And instead of unaliving them people, here they're just letting them go. You know, you're on your own.
They're using them to depress wages.
Mm-hmm.
It's an economic thing where, because we're now in a spot where manufacturing was starting to come back to the United States and employers were starting to have to pay more money to hire us to do the work,
Yeah.
which was getting a hit in their bottom line. So therefore, you know, they're in. This was a whole movement for when they brought women into the workforce. People don't realize it, but this whole women's movement to empower women, it wasn't to empower women, it was to make more taxpayers for the government.
Yeah. Yeah. More people making money that they can get their part of.
And
Yeah.
but they tell all these girls and women, oh, it was to liberate you from the home. Well, most of these girls and women now are now realizing that, oh, can you please stop that?
Kitties.
Come on. You're gonna make me drop your sister now. But you know, a lot of these women, once they hit their late 20s, mid 30s, are realizing, but now I want to be in the home, and I should have been in the home before now. You know, now some of them have missed the chance to have the families that they wanted.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of them, Chelsea Handler being the biggest one, is just so much cope, sitting there walking around talking about how she can masturbate whenever she wants, and she's just so happy living a single life. And I'm like, if
You're
you were
not
that
happy.
happy, would you really be telling us about it? Because
Yeah.
I don't think so. If you
Yeah.
were that happy with your life, you wouldn't give a shit what people thought about you.
Mm-hmm.
Well, along with nutrition, you know, that family life is very significant to mental health.
Oh, yeah.
Nature and
mean-
nurture.
When you're
Yeah.
a man,
Yeah,
you're
absolutely.
going to work and you're providing for your family, it gives you a sense of pride.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It gives you something, it gives you meaning, something to do with your life.
Yeah.
more than just, pleasuring yourself.
Yeah, but if you watch, or if you know anything about back then, women did have great pride in
Oh
taking
yeah.
care of their house. Be it, everything was right in the house.
Mhm.
The guy went out and made the money. The kids always had somebody at home. You know, it was just the world was so much more efficient back then.
I would say balanced. Um,
Well, yeah, balanced a good word.
yeah, because I've seen out now. I know this may be outliers, but I have also seen where it's been flipped, where the woman makes all the money, and the
Yeah,
dude is at home being home dad, and
yeah.
that worked.
Yeah,
Well,
That
yeah,
does
for
work. But the
them, but
point
it's their
is,
family dynamic.
yeah, I was
Absolutely.
just going to say that. Exactly.
Those two roles can be reversed, but as long as you got somebody in that role and somebody in that role, that's the important part. Whether it's the guy
Oh
or the
yeah,
woman is that's just a man pride thing.
yeah.
That's or used to be a big pride thing.
Yeah, I even told when I was Mrs.
Remember,
Cal and I were first getting together, she wanted to. Of course, this was derailed by her heart problems, but she wanted to start a business and be a business manager, of some kind. And I straight up told her, you know what? You want to have kids? We want to have kids after we start getting established. I'll stay home and be the house husband if that's what if you want to go and pursue your dream. I'll support you in every way I can. But
Yeah.
if you want to do that, I will take the role of the house husband. I have no issues with that. And I knew at least two other couples when I was living in California where that was actually that dynamic, and it worked. So Mike is right. You can swap who is doing it, whether it's dad or mom, as long as you have a true family dynamic where somebody is keeping the home and with everything that entails, not just cooking food, not just sprucing the place up, but keeping the home. And then you have somebody out there earning the bread. The dynamic is important because then you have constant support for the children when something happens. Somebody doesn't have to be called in from work because both parents are working and there's nobody available. And then there's always somebody there when the kids have issues, whether it be something as simple as, can you help me with my homework, to something as complex as, Dad, I like Susie, but I'm not quite sure how to express these issues.
Yeah.
How did you and Mom meet? How do I?
How not to be a complete and total asshole.
Yeah, but that's huge right there. The degeneracy. I don't like using that word because it really sounds a bit fringe, but degeneracy being pushed in media is another reason why kids are having a lot of these issues. They're being told by their only nanny, the TV, the internet, whatever, it's okay to be complete degenerates. It's okay to ride the carousel, as it were. It doesn't matter what gender you are. Ride the carousel, have fun. Just dive into all this degeneracy. Just completely ignore, any positive things you can be doing with your life. Just enjoy the degeneracy and, be done with it, because it's all about nihilism. It's all about you. Don't worry about trying to have a good career. Just have, a job where you can make just enough money so you can go and be a degenerate when you're not working. And
some parents are part of that problem too. I mean, if you're
well,
taking
yeah,
your
I
kid
know they are.
to a
I
pride
know they are.
festival where you've got naked men and women walking around doing lewd acts in front of kids.
And naked
I'm
men
still trying to figure out how they don't get arrested for that. But
that's an example right there of multi-generational brainwashing of this push for degeneracy. Growing up where I did, in the shadow of a major U.S. city, during the 80s and 90s, I saw how this started to just creep in to our culture. Now, fortunately, where I lived, we were pretty conservative. As far as being in the shadow of a big city is. I would dare to say that my town was purple leaning red. We had some democratic values of the day. Today, it would be considered beet fucking red. Just absolutely red as blood because of how far the left has moved. But the point is that when the degeneracy started to come in, we had enough intact nuclear families in our area where that was being rejected. But we could look like just right over the border to another nearby small town that was, let's say, economically depressed, and both parents had to work. There was no support in the home, et cetera, et cetera. And a lot of those kids had weird problems. We knew one kid that actually, and this is in the 90s, that thought he was a dog. I mean, legitimately, he wasn't pretending. He wasn't, playing around. He actually thought that he was a dog. And this is before, I know Chris has a huge issue with furries, but this is before the furry thing even was a thing. We're talking literally pre-internet days, and the kid thought he was a dog. And, it was such
a way, but crazy's always been a thing.
Well, yeah, crazy's always been a thing. I'm just saying we started to see more and more of it as time went on.
Yeah.
Looking right next door to us to this economically depressed town where there were very few intact nuclear families, or, the kids are being taken care of by grandma or auntie or whomever. They weren't getting that kind of support in the home. And
you wonder if incest wasn't involved, maybe.
Well, I don't want to venture a guess. I really don't like thinking about that. It's very disgusting.
I know,
it gives me chills. We all know why. But I mean, we all know. Most of the audience knows what happens to me when it happened to me when I was young. That's one of the reasons why Chris and I both agree on wood chipper rental prices should be slashed if you intend to use them for certain purposes.
As long as you disinfect them when you bring them back.
Well, yeah, of course. I mean, you don't want to spread germs. But point is that we could look like right next to us and see what happens when you don't have intact nuclear families. And one of the girls that I knew that I was friends with in high school even said, I am never turning out like that. I don't care what I have to do. I'm going to find me a husband that has a good paying job, and we will find a way to do just like my parents did. Because, oh my God, look at Zelda over there and how she's acting. I mean, that's just disgusting. And look at Prio the dog boy. Look at how he is. He's being taken care of by his grandma. She's got dementia or whatever, this, that, the next thing, blah, blah, blah. Look at how crazy they are. They don't have families. I see what's going on. And this is a distilled version of like a long conversation that a bunch of us ended up having just out of the blue at frickin' chess club after school. At chess club. I mean, I'm not going to say my school was exceptional, but a lot of us kids had our heads screwed on straight. And I attribute that to having good families, a mother and a father, that actually gave a damn about us and gave a damn about our grades and what was going on with us. It's a miracle that I didn't end up being a complete degenerate. It's a miracle I didn't end up on that side of things. Because I was the product of a single mother household. My dad passed away when I was 9, and while I did have my stepdad around, he wasn't really my stepdad until I became an adult. Okay, let me scoot back a little bit too. I'm stuck with this crappy ass camera for now, and it's got a really bad FOVs. Anyway, but I was a product of a single parent household for a large part of my life, and it's a miracle I didn't end up becoming a complete leftard. And actually the reason that I didn't was, and I know this is going to sound a little strange to some of you, it's because of video games. I got really into Resident Evil. It's in fact how I met Mrs. Cal. But I got into Resident Evil. That got me interested in guns. Once I realized that there was one side of politics that wanted to take them away from us, and another side of politics that was saying, no, you have an inalienable right to have them, I was like, you know what? I'm going to go with these guys over here that want to preserve my inalienable rights. Now, what are inalienable rights? That just led to a whole freaking rabbit hole of me learning what it meant to be a real American patriot, to respect the Constitution. I was already Christian. I was Catholic at the time, specifically. But it led down a rabbit hole of self-discovery where I realized, hey, you know what? This is what's going on with the world. I don't like it. I want America to be strong. I want my country to be good at things. And we have this and we have that. It was what awakened me. But if I hadn't had that one thing happen to me, I probably would have ended up closer to left of center, even by today's standards. because I didn't have. I mean, I didn't really have an honest male influence overarching my teenage years.
We took in here's the thing we'll talk about real quick.
Well, let me real quick. See
Yes, sir.
the thing that was bad about my childhood is my parents got to the point where they just said, "Do whatever you want. You're going to do it anyway." You know, it's not that they didn't care, and they were
Yeah,
imperfect
higher question,
humans, but they just go ahead, do what you want. Instead of busting a boot off in my ass, and that led to a lot of my problems. And I'm a pretty decent person, but my older brother is a better person because he didn't experience that. Somehow he got motivated where I missed it.
You're not doing bad for yourself though. Now, I mean.
Oh,
life
yeah.
is-
Yeah, no, I'm not
God has
not
us
terrible,
taking
but I could be
paths
better.
to get where we're at.
Oh, we could all
Yeah.
be better, Mike. We could all be better.
Absolutely, yeah.
That's just
absolutely.
we are imperfect. The only
I don't
thing we
think
can
I
do is
dropped
one
an
of my.
F-bomb this show yet.
Huh?
I said I don't think I dropped an F-bomb this show yet.
What the fuck
I
is your
did.
problem?
One of my friends said that the best that we can do is try to be 1% better every day. And you know what? That's something to shoot for. Just improve by 1%. Now, mind you, because of the way that percentages work, that is literally an infinite amount. You will never achieve 100% because you're now doing 1% better than you were yesterday. But that's not 1% of a whole. That is 1% of a new 100%. So it is a continuous path of improvement. And that's something I think we can all strive for. Just 1% better. What is
Thomas
one
is
little...
asking what you're working on, Mike.
Oh, yeah. What you working on there?
You're
Ooh.
working on the gnome that has the light in the hand.
Oh, that is going to be neat. Oh, that is so nice.
It's a little gnome holding a sunflower behind his back. My friend's in the hospital, so I'm making this for her.
Get
Get
well.
out and see her.
Hard.
Get out and see her today.
Very
There
nice.
you go. Yeah. It's only a little bit bigger than a lighter.
Well, it'll make her day
Sometimes the
better,
best
though.
presents don't have to be huge. They just have to
No,
come from the
no.
heart.
Yep,
Sometimes the best
that's where this
presents
is.
are just caring.
Yeah,
That's another
that's
thing
where
that's
this is
been missing.
coming from.
That's another thing that's been missing from this society for a long time. Giving a damn about other human beings. When in the hell did we become so nihilistic that, we just stopped caring? In general, just the basic human condition of giving
Yeah.
a damn about other people.
When we became a disposable society, because everything's now throwaway, including family. If you
See,
think
I was
about
going
it.
to say when we moved further from God.
Well,
I
that
didn't expect that out of me. I usually don't say that. But no, when we started to move further from God, that also caused so many cultural issues. Just this, it caused a rot.
Excuse me 1 second.
What? Give. Oh, he's got to fix his audio. But yeah, I was going to say, moving further from God has caused this cultural rot, the spiritual rot inside of a lot of us. Not all of us. I mean, there's some of us that are still like, I can seek God. I'm imperfect, but I know God and Jesus love me. And I will do my best to, validate that love and, follow the tenets of the Bible, et cetera, et cetera. You got no audio going there, Chris. I can't hear you. But that's one of the things that's hurt us is the step away from religion. And, look at the Jewish community. They have a very insular community, but they have a very strong grasp on their faith. And because of that, they're able to keep their community robust. They're able to insulate themselves from negative outside influences, things that would, cause their children to become, mental health insufficient, let's say. And they use religion as a weapon to fight that off. And for a long time, we had that here in the rest of the country too. Not just amongst the Jews, but also amongst Christians, and the smaller Hindu and even Muslim communities. They use religion as a weapon to fight degeneracy. And when we stepped away from religion being such a focal point of our life, we started to see this fall into degeneracy, because at the very least, religion can serve as a reminder for us to say, hey, you know what? Maybe doing bad stuff isn't the right way to be as a human, as a person.
And it gives us all a common ground.
Yes.
The same. If we all got the same target, it's going to work a whole lot better.
It gives you the same moral starting ground.
Yeah. Well, it gives you the same moral guide for your life.
Yeah.
Not even just the starting. I mean, yeah.
Those of us that are Christian can look at the Bible and say, this is a damn good moral compass.
Yeah.
Depending on how secular you are with the Christian religion, you can even the most secular can say, this is a starting point for me to be a better human being, for me to be better towards other people, and to be better to myself. And those of us who are a little more serious about Christianity can say, this is maybe not a complete blueprint, but a darn good one. Maybe fill in a few blanks here and there of stuff that, maybe the translation doesn't get quite right. You have to look back at the older texts, older translations. But the message of God is here in these words. If we can take that message, distill it, make it a part of us, and step forward every day in life, not backwards, not one step backwards in our faith, but to continue to move forwards, we can be better people. Look at what happened in North Carolina. This is how I'm going to wrap this up. But look at what happened in North Carolina. It wasn't FEMA that came and saved those people. It was churches. It was community organizations. It was neighbors being neighbors, and a lot of good Christians being good Christians. One of the photos from there that stuck with me is a feeding truck with, I think it was Christian Ministries, had a little banner up in the back. And these two nice ladies, very well dressed in little, like a uniform sort of thing. And that struck me that, you know what, they're the ones that are coming to save people, not the U.S. government. And then, of course, we started to hear about how FEMA is literally trying to get everybody killed up there for whatever reason, whatever. But that right there, should tell us that those of us who still have the moral compass look at the Bible and say, yes, we can still take that and keep moving forward. And as Chris has said several times, as Christians, we need to be able to do that with other people. We may not be, not all of us may have the education to quote chapter and verse and convert people from not being religious or whatever to being Christian, but at the very least, we can influence people towards taking a look. And maybe once they take a look and realize all the good stuff that's in there, the good stuff that's in religion, how you can feel truly positive about yourself, maybe they start walking down that path.
I'm always here if somebody needs to talk and they they have questions about something, or you just want to read through something in the Bible with me and want me to read along with you. You're
Thomas and
Cora to get in contact with me.
Sorry about that. I was about to say, Thomas and Cora are both right. A kind word, a kind act spreads like wildfire, and a kind word or a smile costs nothing and make a world of difference in someone's day. That is absolutely correct. That is absolutely correct. So that's where we stand. I mean, as a culture, all of us, I think about just about everybody here is past 40. So we can all take a look back to the 80s and then look at today
Jamie's
and
gonna
see.
smack you.
I said just about all of us, not every single one. I know how old Jamie is, and I'm not going to betray her on live camera and say how old she is because that's rude. But we can look back, to the past, to our own childhoods, and be like, yeah, things were better back then. And now that we have the maturity and education of being adults, we can say, this is why. We can figure out why and start taking steps to improve that. Maybe it's just in our own lives, and maybe it's something we can do to influence others to be better people. Why are you so happy? Why were you able to get over, the death of your wife as quickly as you were? I had Jesus. I'm going to be honest. I had Jesus. I had projects to keep me busy, but I had Jesus. I could pray every night, and I did several times, very fervently, and I felt better. Plain and simple, I felt better. And I knew, that was the effect of me saying, God, I ain't doing so good right now. Jesus, help me, please. And I could feel that relief. And it helped. It helped a lot. I honestly don't think I would have gotten over my wife's death if it hadn't been for Jesus. I probably would have joined her if it hadn't been for the religious compass that I had in my life. That's me, that's me. And then I had, projects. I still have projects I'm working on that keep me busy. But it was my faith and my friends that helped me move forward. But faith was a huge thing. There is no one silver bullet in life. It's all part of a system. It's all part of a complex web. I had friends. I had my faith. I had my projects. I had my pets. I had a lot of things that all helped. But without, you knock out one of those pegs, the whole system could very well have collapsed. Yeah. Mike knows what I'm talking about right there. I see you nodding. You know what I mean? And, that's just one thing we can do to be. Go ahead.
Look, I see something across the bottom of this where we're at. I can't tell what the hell it is, though.
It says,
Has
now
a
they are the good
YouTube
old
symbol?
days. Yeah.
Oh,
It
okay.
says,
Okay, I
it's a
can't.
quote from Dave.
That shit is like super, 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 super tiny on my phone. I could barely see it,
Get you a magnifying glass out there in the shop, Mike.
Cora
Cora knows what I mean.
knows everything. Love you, Cora.
Yeah. She's gonna reach out and smack you.
Reach out.
But no, Cora knows what I mean. Yeah, you do find out who your friends really are when something like that happens. Hell, some of the people that were me and Jen's mutual friends, I didn't realize were such good friends that they would reach out and basically give me long distance hugs and say, hey, you know what? You need anything, call me. And I'm serious. And I did. And they were there. I didn't realize that they were friends. And I know a lot of people, when they go through a major loss, it's the reverse that happens to them. They get abandoned. Oh, your husband's not around anymore. Your wife's not around anymore. Fine. Bye. I got the reverse. And I will say that I am very fortunate. I'm very fortunate in a lot of things. I'm one of those Christians that's never actually questioned my faith. I've questioned the people who profess me to lead me into God's presence, but I've never questioned my faith in and of itself. I've always said, I am Christian, or I am Catholic, I am this, I am that. I believe in God, I believe in Jesus, I believe in the Holy Spirit, I believe in the good things that the Bible teaches us to do to be better human beings. I've never questioned that once. And I know a lot of Christians have. A lot of Christians have been at a point in their life where they're like, God has abandoned me. I cannot do this anymore. God is not there. There is no God. You know, there have been a lot of Christians who have been there, and then they've come around and realized, you know what, I was wrong. And I'm not criticizing anybody who's been through that, because you know what, we're only human. We have experiences in our life that make us question the very fabric of reality, and not just in, you know, sorrowful and depressing things, but like situations where I'm alive. How in the hell did that happen? I should not be alive. Yeah, exactly what Thomas is saying. Back when you could give a compliment and not be yelled at for using the wrong pronoun. And Daily Bread, thank you. Too many false prophets out there. Just go by the word of God. Amen. Definitely amen. Today we see a lot of these false prophets cropping up. I'm not going to cast shadow, and I'm not going to cast aspersions on specific ones. I'm just going to say that there are a lot of false prophets out there that we Christians have to, you know, it's time when a lot of us Christians stood up and started policing our own. The ones that are literally teaching literal heresy. You know, let's start with the bottom of the barrel first and work our way up. But let's not ignore the tent pegs we see along the way either. We got to call them out and say, hey, you know what? No, that is literal heretical, you know, crap that you're teaching. Father Vignano, formerly Cardinal Vignano, he literally is going through his own Jesus moment within the Catholic Church, because he was calling out the degeneracy and the evil that has existed and has been festering in the church. He got knocked out of being a cardinal and has been reduced to a priest because he questioned the status quo. You know, he's, like I said, he's literally getting his own Jesus rejected. He's being rejected for telling the truth. As far as I'm concerned, Vignano should be Pope right now. He's the only one in the Catholic Church that is standing up and saying, no, screw you, screw you, screw you. You're all being heretics. You are literally spreading heresy. And, you know, taking away his title as cardinal has only made him that much more vocal. So for anybody who is Catholic and who has, you know, hope for the Catholic Church to recover from its current grievous wounds, look at Mr. Vignano. Look at Father Vignano. He's the one who's
I'm sitting here commenting on this, and I realized my microphone's off.
Oh, yeah. And I have been able to see your mouth moving because the camera's like right.
But I was agreeing with you. Yes. You know, most people who are following what this Pope is doing, that are true believers and know what the Word of God says, know that this Pope is a globalist heretic, and that what he did to that father was wrong. And he's actually made that father more popular by doing that.
Especially among Christians that understand the gravitas of what he did. He's literally treating Cardinal Emeritus Vignano as they treated Jesus when he tried to spread the truth. And for those of us seeing that, I'm not Catholic anymore, but I'm looking at this and I'm like, oh, that's not how you do things. If you were a true believer, you would know this is the wrong way to do it. You turning him into a modern day Jesus, and he's not going to have the exact same things, but he's going through some of the same experiences. History doesn't always repeat itself, but it does often rhyme. Yeah, Thomas is exactly. God didn't abandon me. It was the church that changed the word. That is 100% on target. And I completely agree. You know, the church has gone about changing the word. They've gone about changing the way the word is said. They've gone about changing how the word is interpreted. And our current Pope has said a lot of things and done a lot of things. I've been over this before, why I left the Catholic Church and I became an independent Christian. And, you know, why I no longer follow the tenets of the Catholic Church. And it's all because of the current Pope. The previous Pope, Pope Benedict, I had issues with him being in the special youth movement that was active during the 1940s, but I also understand that it was one of those things. If you didn't join that movement, there's a very good chance that your house could get firebombed or worse. So I kind of understand that he had to do that, otherwise he may not be alive today. And also that it was just it was more or less an impressment, a form of impressment. Of those of you that understand what that term means, especially in the concept of military forces. But he dedicated himself to God completely after that. So after a lot of soul searching, I do accept that he ascended to the rank of Pope, and I do recognize him because he certainly didn't say anything as heretical as Francis has been saying. And Francis has just been making a complete ass clown out of himself. And it's depressing that the Catholic Church has fallen so far. And here's something that'll make matters even worse to at least a few people. The only place the Catholic Church is making true inroads is in the People's Republic of China. There are a lot of growing Catholics in China. The only problem is that, and the Pope has allowed this, not just allowed it, but encouraged it. He has allowed the scripture to be partially rewritten to align with communist ideals. He has literally allowed the Bible to become corrupted. And now those people in China, they're not worshiping the real Bible. They're not worshiping the true word of God. They're still somewhere on the, in the effect zone, but they're not worshiping the word of God anymore. They're worshiping the word of God that has been intentionally tampered with by man to make it more appealing to the government. That's not how this works.
Not just that, but they also treat it more like a business now than about saving people.
Yeah.
Nate said the modern day church doesn't even want to talk about sin because they don't want to offend anybody in that offering plate.
Yeah.
Yeah. They're thinking, oh, well, we can bring in more people. Sorry, I guess my camera's off again.
Yeah. There you go. That's better.
Do you know the quickest, easiest way to tell if a church is, when you're first wanting to test a church and see if it's a church you want to go to? Dress in the raggiest shit you have and walk into that church and see if they walk up to you and greet you and want you there, or if they try and hide you and tell you to sit in the back. Because if you go into a church and they tell you to sit in the back and they don't greet you and treat you like a brother, you need to walk away. And
Freedom Biker. That's how Freedom Biker Church is, man. Walk in there in rags. Everybody will still be loving on you, welcome you. Oh yeah.
God says, "Come as you are."
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of people,
not as I want you to. Yeah.
A lot of people misconstrue that as come to me as a sinner, which it means that as well, but that's not the only way that's to be taken. It is also he wants you to come to him if you are rich. He wants you to come to him if you are poor. He just wants you to come to him and be with him.
Mm-hmm. Listen to him. For crying out loud, please listen. Religion has always been a strong force. It's been used for good and it's been used for evil. But one thing that, and I noticed that this has been done a lot by the left. One of the things that religion, especially Christianity, has been, it has always been a moral compass to do the right thing, do the good thing. And the left
even
has
people aren't watching.
Yeah. And the left is constantly trying to tear that down, rip that up, alter it, pervert it, change it. It's a multi-directional attack from all sides. They're trying to subvert religion so that it does what they want it to do and not what it should be doing, which is saying, no, you're wrong. This degeneracy shit has got to fucking stop. You are being wrong. You are leading people down the wrong path, not just spiritually, but they're self-destructing their own mortal lives doing this. So that when they do get upstairs, when they meet St. Peter, or when they meet their guide to heaven, they are going to be so overloaded with sin because of everything that you're saying that they are going to go downstairs, and it's not going to be pleasant. So for God's sake, stop.
When he sits there and goes, on this day, you, and they're like, how did you see that? I was under the covers, no, it doesn't work that way.
Yeah.
You cannot hide your sin from God, no matter how much you try.
So, besides
I'll be
this
back again.
nice long talk about religion, anybody else got anything they want to bring up? Anybody else? If not, I've got one other thing I do want to put out there for everybody. Trump's former Border Patrol chief had an interview last night. Or it was, I don't know, it was recently. But the interviewer asked, well, how can we deport these people without ripping apart whole families? And he said, we can deport the families too. Just whap right across the face. Nope, no survivors. We'll just grab them all.
Is my mic on?
Yeah.
Oh, oops.
I'm hearing you work. That's why I paused. And Chris, your mic is off if you can hear me, and you're trying to talk to me and you're not talking to Caitlin or something. But anyway, yeah, he said just scoop up whole families. Chris, buddy, Chris, we can't hear you. There you go. Yeah, we couldn't hear that whole section of you talking there, bud. But yeah, you say go ahead and scoop up whole families. And I'm like, oh, let's do it. Let's do it. Find the ones that are illegal and get them out of here. Nope.
Damn it.
Chris froze up.
Yeah, everything's being stupid.
Your phone has turned into... I was about to say your phone was turning into Kamala Harris over there. If so, I'd go demand a refund.
Am I flickering and shit again? No, I'm there. I should be moving. Am I froze up still?
Nope, you're good. A bit of a delay, but you're good.
Wonder what the hell... Now what the hell did I do?
That's better.
Okay. Sorry about that, everybody.
It happens. Scuff is a part of life.
Mom called and kicked me off of this and put me on my phone, and I was okay. Well, they are out and about, so when she calls when they're not here, I have to take that call and just make sure everything's okay, So I apologize.
It happens. It happens. We all got our struggles in life, and we all got our things that we're responsible for.
Keyboard now. On the keyboard. Actually, they're all down except for the 3 little kittens are up on my lap at the moment. And my fire dying, so I'm actually starting to get chilly. But yeah, I always enjoy talking religion with you guys and gals. I am thoroughly, one thing I always say this is, once we're in the afterlife, I want to be able to meet up with all of you and chill out and have fun together. And if I'm not talking to you about this. Like I said, I'm not going to beat you over the head with it and say you have to follow me in this and everything in order to be my friend or something like that. That's not how it works. You have to make up your own mind
Mm-hmm.
how you want to do. If you want to say that, hey, Chris and Cal and all these other ones that are talking to me about Christianity seem like really cool people, and I'd like to hang out with them in the afterlife. So then you can make that decision.
Mm-hmm.
But again, it's your decision to make. God gave every person free will for that reason. He wants us to follow Him willingly.
Mm-hmm.
So I will gladly talk to you. I did ask in Discord yesterday. We're going to start doing the daily scriptures again. I'm sorry, I got overwhelmed there for a little bit, and somehow I got out of sync. I missed a day and stopped doing it for a little bit. We're going to change the format though. Before I was just posting a picture of it. This time I will post a picture. It'll be a video. You'll get the picture with me reading said scripture. So that way you can read it if it works better for you. You can hear it, because some people work better with listening. We all have different strengths and stuff, so that way it'll
Oh yeah.
Give them both so they can do both. So we will be starting to do that again. On our Discord, we have a women's room for the women to get together and congregate and talk with each other. We have a men's room for us men to get together and talk with each other. And, I think that's important. You have to have, yes, the whole community as a whole is important, but it's also important to have, your male community and your female community.
Mm-hmm.
So if there's a female that would like to read the female daily scriptures, hit me up and let me know, and I will send you pictures, and we'll get that set up, because I think that might work better than hearing a male telling a female, God says this, for a female daily devotional. But we'll see.
What you said about having different. Go ahead.
Go ahead.
I was going to say what you said about all of us having our different strengths and weaknesses reminded me of something. When I was going to CCD, Father McDonald said to us kids, one of the kids asked us, well, if we're all made in God's image, why aren't we identical? He said, God is infinite. Therefore, all of us can be infinitely different and still be in God's image, which is why you are a faster runner, you are a faster thinker, you might be stronger, and you might understand certain things that are going on in books that others cannot. Because God is infinite, and we are all infinitely in His image.
All right, Dave. Good morning, Chris. Have a great day at school, Dave. We'll see you later, bud. Be safe.
But I always found that just be very, very profound. That is a very profound way to interpret it, that little piece of scripture right there.
That, and it also hammers home the importance of community, because when you have the community, all of those parts work together.
Yes. We are all cogs in a giant machine. But we are not nameless numbers. We are not just things that exist. We each have our own experiences in life. We each have a reason for being. We have a reason to get up in the morning. We have a reason to keep moving forward. I've got reasons. I know Chris has reasons. Mike certainly got reasons, and he works on them every morning with us, which we're all kind of very lucky to see. So it's always nice to watch an artist work on their craft, even if you don't think you're an artist, because I know a lot of artists are like, no, I'm not an artist. I'm not nothing. I just do shit. No. But all of us having these different strengths and different weaknesses means that when we come together, we can readily identify, okay, we can do this, we can do this, we can do this. Well, let's get together and get this done using our own special talents to make ourselves better, to make the group stronger.
Yeah, I just my talent honestly is I don't take and get offended. I have thick skin, so I have no problem with getting up here and making a complete and total ass out of myself. And I can take jokes, I can take ribbings, and so that's why I'm up here doing this, because I know that we as a community, first off, love to get together and do this, talk and chat, and we do get a lot of meaningful conversations in. But at the same time, we also have days where we just joke and carry on and cut up. And the thing is you need both of those days. You honestly do. Sometimes you need both of those in the same day. So, we're having this in-depth conversation now. Maybe this afternoon it'll be all clowning around and making fun of Kamala, whatever she says on The View this morning or something.
Or just making fun of The View in general. I mean,
Well,
they do give us a view to their stupidity.
Yeah, they're conservative that they have on there is not a conservative, if anybody knows. Now I'm gonna backtrack here to finish this up, because
Go for it.
You were talking about growing up in a single parent family with a stepfather and stuff, and my mom raised me and my brother from, well, me up until I was 6, I believe, and my brother was about 4 or 5 maybe. And my stepdad came into our lives when I was 11, and he was not really hands-on. He paid bills, worked and stuff, and he made sure we had everything we needed. But it took a long time for him to decide that he wanted to be dad. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And my first time voting, I was actually a senior in high school. I had to take economics and all this other stuff, American Lit and all that. Not American Lit, but
English Lit?
No.
American Civics?
Yeah, basically that, but they called it something different. And so my teacher is like, well, if you can vote, I'll give you extra credit. Cool. So I'm reading through all the stuff going on, and even back then I did my research before I went and voted. And based on what I was reading, I'm like, I don't like abortion, I don't like this. And yes, even back in the 90s, abortion was something that Democrats were pushing.
Oh, yeah.
And so the first time I voted was for Bush Sr. And not exactly happy with everything he did. My grandmother was appalled that I voted for him. Honestly, I don't think my teacher even gave me my extra credit. I think she was kind of upset with my vote too. But I've always been on that side. I've always been on the side where I have had that religious compass guiding me. So I just I think I voted Democrat once, and that was because he was not for the normal Democrat platform, or at least he said he wasn't. And I voted for that one. But I'm principled. If I don't think the Republican's a good candidate and he doesn't have our best interest, and the Democrats saying, that their platform is closer to mine, I'm going to vote for the Democrat. That's just, people put too much emphasis on this red, blue, RD. It has to be who's best for the job. Now, I'm not saying that's, you know, I again, I identify more with the Republicans and that, well, not even the Republicans at this point, the populists, which have come out. I've always been basically that. I don't want wars. I don't want half the shit that we got into.
Yep.
I think if Trump wants to make the biggest impact right at the beginning, he goes through and he gets the Patriot Act repealed, and any of those security acts that were put on us, he gets it repealed. That the government cannot propagandize us, that they can't spy on us, they can't, all the stuff that Barack Obama and George Bush Jr. got pushed through based on the lies of the terrorist thing. The terrorist thing happened, don't get me wrong, but there were a lot of lies that were baked into that to push their agenda against us, the American people.
Never let a good crisis go to waste.
Well, and that's a lot of people. Oh, that's a Democrat. No, that the rhinos do the same shit. So,
Take care, Nate.
Be safe, Nate. Yeah, we're gonna wrap up here too, bud. Nate said he is doing shorts with Bible verses and stuff. So
I'll go sub to his channel when I'm done here. Yeah.
Well, here, let me go ahead and post his channel.
Oh yeah, you can do that. I can't. Hey Jay, we're just about to wrap up, bud.
Let me do this.
Jay, you want to? I want an update on certain things. You know what I'm talking about. When we're done here. Looks like Chris froze up. Oh dear Lord. There you go. You froze up there for a minute.
Yeah, I was going to try and do something, but it's not going to let me do it that way, so I have to. Oh, well. I missed what you said there at the end.
I was just asking if Jay would like to have a private discussion afterwards on certain things that are occurring that I wanted an update on. Nothing to involve the group, but I just thought I'd just go ahead and say it. It'd be a lot easier than bugging him.
Gotcha. So there is Nate's YouTube channel. Welcome back, Jay. Sorry, but I wasn't quite here when you popped in. Let me pin that.
He was with us in spirit.
I'm always with you in spirit, whether you know it or not. Not saying I'm the Messiah or anything, but we can all still be with each other in spirit and feel each other's presence. Especially when we're kind of feeling alone. At times that can happen, But if you think in your head, hey, I know I've got Chris that cares about me. I've got Cora that cares about me, Cal, Jay, Dave, Jamie. If you sit there and start thinking that way, you start feeling their presence and you start, it helps to kick that lonely feeling a little bit.
Yep.
And as always, if you have phone numbers, reach out to us, call us and say, hey, can you talk for a little bit? And as long as I'm not in an appointment that I have to pay attention to, or I'm, being examined, I'll take the call. Even if it's to tell you, hey, I can't talk right now. Can I call you back in 10 minutes?
Yep.
So, but yeah, please always don't be afraid to reach out. If you don't have my phone number, here is the email. You can email. Well, everybody has my damn number, so I'll just put it up here anyway. My fire just went out. It went poof.
Hey guys,
well,
I'm out of here.
all
right,
Mike,
take
have a
care,
great
Mike.
day, buddy. We'll talk to you later.
Hey, y'all have a great day.
I'm gonna add your friend to our prayer list.
Yes, definitely.
Okay. I appreciate that. Sarita.
Sarita.
Yeah.
All right. Gotcha, bud. We will
Cool,
get
brother.
that taken care of. Be safe, and I hope you have a good
All right.
visit with her today.
I appreciate it. Later, y'all.
See you later, bud. So, yeah, there's Nate's YouTube channel, and I'm going to pop my phone number up there and pin it for a little bit so people can grab that. Jay says if you focus hard enough, you might even be able to smell my farts. Well, so that was you the other day, huh? I was blaming it on the cats. Oh my. But yeah, so well, I appreciate you all being here. Cal, thanks for joining me.
Yep. Anytime.
Y'all be safe, and we will see you on Discord. I will see you this afternoon. I gotta get this tank changed out before then. But yeah. Be safe. And please pray. Pray for your friends, family. Pray for our government leaders. You know, God can change people with enough influence.
Mhm.
So, but we will see you all later. Have a great day,
Take
y'all.
care.
Peace. Love y'all.